Okay, so welcome back. I'm going to be doing a series right now on sovereignty codes. So I have 7 different sovereignty codes that we're going to work through. And when you listen, make sure you have a pen and paper ready so that you can write them down. And then I encourage you to look over them and look at which one needs the work done on it the most over the next little while. And then you'll work with that sovereignty code over the next while as well until you feel complete, till it really starts to sit deep in your field, your energy center, and really starts to feel good for you. The thing is with these sovereignty codes, if there's any that really make you uncomfortable, that's probably the one that you need to address. So these sovereignty codes are the ones that we start to build more of our authentic nature. It helps us come back home to ourself. It also helps to free us from any external influence as well, and to be able to catch that influence before it even enters our field. It also allows us to use our discernment and see what's true for us. It's where we're able to have our own values and beliefs and hold strong in them. And also allowing you to find your own authenticity within your own divine expression. So sovereignty really starts to come where you know that you are a spiritual being and that you are having a human experience, where you know that you really start to raising the consciousness, and where you want to be in your own energy and know that your energy is sacred. Our own sovereignty, which is also our own freedom individually and as a collective, is very important, especially in these times. And these are the ones that came to me today, so I felt the most called to bring this to you now, especially where everything is going, how the energy is feeling, and something that's going to be very empowering for all of us as we go through the next transitions, going from more of this state of fear into actually choosing more of the peace and the calm, and also choosing love. This is very, very important, is to be in the vibration of love. This doesn't mean we won't have other emotions, but we will work through them and process them quickly. They will clear rather quickly because we are aware, and we can hold that space and allow them to move through. So with that in mind, I do suggest for you to get a pen and paper if you don't already have one. And if obviously this is something that feels aligned for you. But before we even go into these codes, once you have that pen and paper, I'm just going to make sure that we go through a relaxation process first, so that you can be more in that mind state to actually feel and know which one is going to jump out at you for you to work with today. Okay, so get comfortable. Make sure your feet are placed flat on the floor, and make sure that you're not wearing any shoes so that you can connect. And the next thing you're going to do is just place your hands palm up on your thighs. And I'm just going to ask you to either close your eyes if you wish or to keep them open, but to start taking in some nice deep breaths in through the nose, down through the throat, down through the chest, and into the abdomen, filling the abdomen. And we're going to do that for a count of 4 breaths. Okay. So now that you've taken those breaths, I want you to bring awareness to your heart And again to your tailbone, so the root chakra. And I want you to observe your heart chakra and your root chakra and know that the heart represents boundaries and harmony, as well as joy and sadness. It's acceptance and respect, and it's love in all forms. And the root is all about feeling grounded, connected to the earth, feeling safe, feeling secure, feeling comfortable in the world around you. I want you to feel your heart chakra in your chest and feel it expand outside of your body, making sure that it's flowing through the front as well as your back. And notice that stream of energy from the heart going from the front to the back, feeling that natural pulse. And then you're going to notice the root chakra system, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to notice the root expand out to the front, and then to the back, and feel that rhythmic pulse. And once you feel them both doing this, I want you to feel a line coming from the heart all the way down, connecting into the root, grounding and feeling safe and secure within all forms of love. The love that you give, the love that you receive, and the love that you have for yourself. Notice any emotions that come up here, as sometimes when we're doing something like this, sometimes grief might come up, or sadness, sometimes anger, old memories, and that is normal. Just observe. Allow yourself to feel what comes up and remind yourself that you're safe. In whatever experience this is, remind yourself that you're safe. And this isn't happening in the present moment. And allow your body to just release those emotions into the intestines or the bladder. And just keep breathing until the heart is firmly connected to the root. And now that we're here, arriving all in the same place, you can open your eyes and grab your pen and paper. The first sovereignty code. I am in charge of my body, mind, and soul in all dimensions, time, and space. So take a nice deep breath in as you hear this. And know that your body and your energy fields, your mental state and your soul is all something that you're in control of. This is your sacred energy. This will allow you to feel free of influence in all aspects, and clearing away the filters that we have built around influences in our life, whether they be family influences, whether they be authority influences that haven't been healthy, whether they be teacher influences that weren't healthy, even friends. Some examples for this here as well can be around, even when we're younger, being forced to hug people when we didn't want to. This subconsciously makes us feel like we are not in charge of our bodies. Our bodies are not our own. So this sovereignty code will allow you to reclaim that power over your body, mind, spirit, and energy systems. whether they be in this physical reality, this physical 3D, or whether they be in other dimensions, other astral planes, because sometimes we may not realize that we are traveling to other places. And this will also help you to set up healthy boundaries as well, because healthy boundaries in the 3D allow us to have healthy boundaries in the spiritual planes. So very important. Sovereignty code number 2. I claim my free will to divinity, and I release any lower frequencies within. So this one I really love, because we all have free will. We can all choose to either be higher frequency or lower frequency. So this sovereignty code will help you claim that ability to keep ascending with the divine, to come home to yourself, to see that inner truth, to claim that inner soul, that inner truth. This will help you release a lot of patterns around competition, a lot of patterns around others' attachments, such as self-sacrifice to help others, being a martyr. But then any attachment, to the dark workers. So if you consider yourself to be a light worker, or want to surround yourself with light worker friends, then being on a very similar vibration is helpful. So I claim my free will to divinity and release any lower frequency. So another piece on this is that this could be your own lower frequencies that you've held on to, maybe some cycles that you want to dissolve. This will help you dissolve. And as you do this, memories, emotions, and experiences will come up as you connect with these. Sovereignty codes number 3. I call back and integrate any fractured piece of my body, mind, or soul back into the heart. So when you think of trauma, everyone has had a level of trauma in their life. Often we fracture ourselves, which can also be seen as self-betrayal, in order to protect ourselves. Sometimes we will sit in a lower vibration as well to try and help somebody else. So this fractured piece, wherever that may be, you're calling it back. You're bringing it back into the heart. You're integrating that part of yourself back in. This could be child self. This could be your teenage years or even your adult years. There can be pieces of ourself that we leave behind because we think, well, I either can't be that person for X, Y, Z reason. For me, for a long time, I left a part of myself out that was around being a cosmic center, essentially. So being that star keeper, that star portal person, I hid that for so long and forgot about it. I took that piece of myself out when I was a child. I went from communicating with the Pleiadians and Sirians and everything else and saying, this doesn't fit in this world. And I left that part of me behind. Often we do these things, and it may not be about intuition, but it also could be. So if you're trying to activate some spiritual gifts, here's a good sovereignty code for you, calling back these pieces that you left behind out of necessity, out of survival. But just know you're not in the same position now. You can fully claim who you are and integrate these pieces back in. Maybe it was a heartbroken, abandoned piece of yourself. For example, I left a 12-year-old piece of me behind. I fractured that piece because it was so painful to go there. I experienced so much grief and abandonment that I just couldn't go back. So the sovereignty code number 4. I claim my inner power, my inner purpose, and inner passion. So when we begin to claim our power, purpose, and passion, it allows us to connect those parts of ourselves that we may have told ourselves isn't okay or isn't logical. And it's okay to incorporate all of the sacred masculine structures, all the logical pieces. But it's also okay to have parts of your feminine integrate as well. Your power, purpose, and passion make you who you are on this planet. They're what make you unique. And even if you don't know what your purpose is right now, just ask yourself, what would I consider to be the most important thing to do with my time? If it's helping people, then you need to find out in which way you enjoy helping people. Some people are great counselors or therapists or energy healers or massage therapists. There's numerous things that you can do to help others and spread kindness if that's a part of your purpose. You can incorporate that every single day. Okay. Sovereignty code number 5. I am at home in my heart, and I feel secure in my vision. So if you have a vision for your life, this will help you anchor this vision in. And if you don't, then there's some work to do. Don't allow yourself to say, I don't know, whether it's with your vision or your purpose. I don't know is resistance. Often we disconnect and withdraw from our heart, which is our main source of energy, which anchors all of the other chakra systems, which allows us access into the 4th dimension and beyond. The heart is how we manifest. So we need to make our heart a home. Sovereignty code number 6. I am authentic in my divine expression. This will help you to find your own voice and how you express yourself, how you express your divinity. Everyone has a different flavor, a different way. Neither is right or wrong. And again, this will help you get out of competition and allow you to see others for their pure radiance and for their unique divine expression. And you find that through your heart. You find that through love. So there is no shortcut, no copycat for expressing your divine. It's really embodying that sense of your soul and sitting in your heart. In sovereignty code number 7, I radiate love in my environment. I radiate unconditional love in my environment. And I set boundaries with ease. So this sovereignty code can be especially freeing because even if we come from a place of unconditional love, that doesn't mean we also have to put up with other people's negativity, manipulation, or abuse. Many dark workers, many narcissists might get drawn to your love. And that doesn't mean you have to accept that because you come from a place of unconditional love. What that means is that you can lovingly see them in their pain. You can lovingly see them in their constriction, their restriction in their life. And you can give them an opportunity to either rise up into the unconditional love frequency, or you can love them from a distance. And this is especially powerful because when you no longer feed your energy into these types of interactions, they become less and less and less. You pull that out, and you can still send them loves because they do have that free will choice. So by sending them love from a distance while stating your own boundaries, it allows you to come from a place of power and love and allow them to also make their own choice, because at the end of the day, everyone has their own choice. If we had, toxic traits or behaviors or anything to that nature, but no one said anything, we would probably keep going. But if someone brought it to your attention that a boundary was crossed, then you would think about that, more than likely. And it's an opportunity. Everything in our environment becomes an opportunity to really reflect and see what our mirror is, where we need to work, as well as what isn't working for us. So now that you have these 7 sovereignty codes, the next action step will be to look through them while in the space and see which one jumps out at you. And whichever one jumps out at you, you're going to take a separate piece of paper, or you can do a little journal on your tablet or on your laptop or on your phone, and you're going to write that sovereignty code. And the first thing you're going to do is write all the first impressions that you feel when you read that sovereignty code. What comes up for you? You're going to feel if there's any resistance to this. And then what you're going to do is also visualize, what would your life look like with this sovereignty code ringing true? How would that change your life? How would that change your relationship to yourself, to those in your environment, to your job, to your community? How would this code change those aspects of life for you? And then I want you to write out what that vision of your life would be with this sovereignty code. And I want you to look at it every single day. And I want you to write any other levels of resistance that comes up. And as they do, say thank you. But then go back to the vision and keep embodying the emotions and feelings that are positive to help you move through the resistance to get to that vision. Keep holding it in your mind. And then when you feel complete and feel really good for a couple of days around holding that vision, then move on to the next sovereignty code and do the same thing until you've worked through all 7. And this is something that you can keep doing over and over and over as well. This is not something you just do once and that's it. You can revisit this as often as you like. So let me know how these sovereignty codes are sitting for you and if they make sense, because this will be very activating for you once you start moving through these. So thank you for joining me for another episode of the sovereignty codes. And I'm really excited to get some feedback on how these are actually changing for you and how you're feeling day to day. And if you're noticing things start to lift, because often when we're in a separation consciousness and often when we don't feel very free or sovereign, we tend to carry a lot of heaviness around us, around the ankles, around the wrists, around the knees and the hips, often in the shoulders as well, which is interesting because it's usually the site of minor chakras where I notice people have the restrictions. And they seem subtle, but they really hold us down in such a deep way. So this is a way to start releasing that separation consciousness, to stop modifying who you are, to stop believing that you're anything but a true spiritual being that's sovereign and divine.